I thought I would do another book review because my last one that I did, which was about Fire and Fury by Michael Wolff, that one did pretty well, relatively, because I think when I checked today, it had 140 views on YouTube. It's not going viral. Nothing I do goes viral, but it did better than most of my kitchen vlogs, which get 40 to 50 views. If I get 60, that's a good day. 140 was actually pretty good. I don't do this to become rich and famous, folks. I do this because it's fun. Anyways, I was going to do a review on this other book, which I will get to in a minute, that I just finished reading, but I had to cover this because this just hit the fan like an hour ago or so. In fact, Rachel Maddow's show, as I'm doing this, the Rachel Maddow show is on MSNBC. She had a show planned. She had to scrap what she had planned because this came out and she had to cover the latest news release. This is from the New York Times. The article was written by Michael Schmidt and Maggie Haberman. Headline, Trump ordered Mueller fired, but backed off when White House counsel threatened to quit. This isn't new news. And it struck me as kind of odd because this actually happened back in June. Why did Michael Wolff miss this one? Why wasn't this covered in the book? The New York Times got some information. They were able to release this. What had happened was Trump gave the order. He wanted Mueller fired, but he wanted his White House counsel to do it, Donald McGahn. And McGahn said, no, no way. Donald McGahn said he would quit. He would resign as White House counsel before he would enact this, because he's going to think about his career. See, well, okay, now it gets down to why did Trump want to fire Mueller? Is he getting too close to revealing what Trump has really been up to? And the three issues that they're talking about lately in the news, there's three things they're talking about. Of course, the collusion, which more and more they're saying now conspiracy, conspiring with the Russians to rig the U.S. election. Obstruction of justice, that's been in the news for a long time. And now they're talking more about money laundering because Trump is a real estate person. And the Russians like to launder money through United States real estate. I won't go into that too much. That's a really thorny issue. But one of the questions that they brought out in talking about this is who brought this up and why? Why, even though this happened way back in June, why is this coming out now? And some people are saying that the writing is on the wall now, that Mueller is getting now so close. Now he's going to interview, he's going to question Trump. The job is winding down. He's getting enough evidence now that he can actually question the president. The FBI can question the president of the United States. A lot of people are jumping ship or getting ready to jump ship. So they're doing what they can now to get out quickly, save themselves. It was one of the questions brought up was why that tax rewrite, the rewrite of the tax code that obviously benefited the wealthy. Why wasn't there more fury about that? Well, because it benefited the people who are planning to jump ship. They're going to get out as soon as they can, as soon as they have to, because it's winding up. And they're expecting it to really hit the fan in the next few months. And what the outcome could be could be something really, really major, something that would outdo Watergate. So that's the big news that's hitting the fan today. Stay tuned to the news. Watch as much as you can. Read as much as you can. This came from the New York Times because things are happening now. Things are happening rapidly. Okay, the book that I wanted to review that I really appreciated. It's an older book, not old in that it was written 10 years ago, but months ago. It's about Steve Bannon. I'll show you the book cover. It's about Steve Bannon and his working with the Trump campaign and how what he did helped to get Donald Trump elected as president. Because I was shocked, as most people were, November 8th, 2016, when I saw the numbers coming in, and little by little by little, we saw that Trump was going to win the majority of the Electoral College votes and was going to be the next president. And I'm like, why? How? How did this happen? And I've never really gotten a clear answer as to how it happened. Was it the Russians? The Russians didn't meddle with our voting machines. They may have meddled with American attitudes in the way they leaked certain things and the way they used Facebook to create false ads and so forth. But they didn't have that much influence that they could really get Trump into the White House. What happened? And I learned from the book that here's the genius of Bannon. He may be in the outs now, most unpopular man in Washington, but the genius of it was that he knew how to work the voters, that there was this large segment of the population who probably wouldn't have voted, the forgotten Americans, the Rust Belt people, the people in the states that where it would be really close, the battleground states. California, where I live, I don't vote in the presidential election in California. And some people, oh, it's your civil obligation to do that. Here in California, I figured out in the November 8th, 2016 election, 1.5 million Clinton voters in California could have stayed home that day, November 8th. And Hillary Clinton still would have won all of California's Electoral College votes. It's an overwhelmingly blue state. I discuss it with my friends because they say, well, they're going to vote for the Libertarian candidate. And I ask them, well, why? You know the Libertarian candidate isn't going to be elected, especially here in California. It's dust on the scales. Oh, because I like the Libertarian candidate. Fine. I mean, they have the right to vote, but they're doing it for themselves. They're not really doing it to help a candidate win. And that's because that's how it is here in California. Everybody knows the Democratic candidate is going to win the state. It's those battleground states, Florida, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Iowa, Ohio, the Rust Belt states. There's a segment of the population there that they're the forgotten people. They lost their jobs in the steel mills, in the factories. The coal mines are shut down. They're struggling to find work. Forgotten people. And a lot of them are getting hooked on opioids because they're so distressed and depressed over their lot in life that these are things that they do to try to escape. Well, Bannon helped to play to those people because they probably wouldn't have voted. No one pays attention to them. Again, they're the forgotten Americans, but he got them riled up. You don't have to be forgotten in this election because Trump is going to champion you people. He's going to fight for you people. He's going to open the coal mines again. He's going to bring manufacturing jobs back to the USA. He's going to open the steel mills again with his infrastructure projects of building, repairing American bridges. He's going to only use American steel. This gave people hope. Sent them to the polls. And it was just enough in those battleground states, just enough to tip the scales in Trump's favor. And that was one of the genius things that Bannon did. As much as he's disliked, he was a genius about getting the voters into the polls, into the election booths, the voting booths, to elect Donald Trump. And that was what helped me to appreciate just what happened and why it happened. The forgotten people, at least for one election, were not forgotten. They're forgotten again. That's another book that I've just started reading. It talks about the promises. No president ever lives up to all of their campaign promises, but this other book is going through a lot of the promises that were made in the campaign as well as after he was elected. And what he did afterwards, in many cases, he did exactly the opposite, such as like the Veterans Administration and making it a lot easier for veterans to get the medical care that they want, shortening the lines, easier appointments And then what did he do when he became president? He cut back on the funding of the Veterans Administration because he wanted to put more money into the military. There's a lot of these cutbacks in areas that he promised to promote, and now he's cutting back or totally eliminating some of these positions, some of these departments, some of these jobs. So that's another book. But I wanted to cover that. That's this book. It's called The Devil's Bargain. And I think if you wonder how could Trump have gotten an election when all the polls said Hillary Clinton was going to win, if you wonder what happened, that's a good book to read because it explains just how Steve Bannon manipulated the system and used it to get Trump elected to be president. Not that it was anything illegal. It wasn't illegal. Ethical, that's for other people to argue. I'm not going to argue whether it was ethical or not. The voters have the right to vote, and they can vote any which way they want. Some things that were done to embarrass Hillary Clinton, legal but ethical, probably not. But it really helped me to appreciate what happened and why, because I was confused for a long time. So if you like books, if you want to read books, I recommend that one, The Devil's Bargain. It'll really help you to appreciate what Steve Bannon did. So there's my vlog, my kitchen vlog this time around. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe. I probably should have done this one as one of my news vlogs, but I kind of abandoned that channel because it was just too much work trying to research dozens of news articles every day and then pick out the salient points to put it into an outline to cover. I didn't have the time. I've got cooking to do. I baked more bread today. I have a cooking channel. So anyways, if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe, tell others about it, and thanks for listening.